Have you ever wondered why you resemble your parents or siblings? The answer lies in the fascinating world of genetics and inheritance. Genetics is the study of how physical and behavioral traits are passed down from one generation to the next. Traits like your eye color, hair texture, or even your love for music all come down to the genes you inherit. So, how exactly do these traits get passed down? Well, it's all thanks to a man named Mendel and his laws of inheritance.
First, let's talk about the law of segregation. Imagine you're sorting a deck of cards. Each card in your deck represents a gene, the basic unit of heredity. When you shuffle the deck and deal a card, you're essentially doing what happens when organisms reproduce. The cards, or genes, get separated and passed on to the next generation. In other words, each parent contributes one set of genes to their offspring, which then becomes a unique combination of both their parents' genes.
The law of segregation explains how we inherit separate traits from each of our parents. Simply put, each parent contributes one gene copy or allele for each trait. These alleles then separate when the organism produces its own reproductive cells, or gametes. Let's use Mendel's pea plants as an example. Each plant received one allele for seed color from each parent, one allele for yellow, represented as Y capital, and one for green, represented as Y small. Now, when these plants go on to produce their own gametes, the alleles separate. This ensures that each gamete carries only one allele for each trait. So, the law of segregation explains how alleles separate during the formation of gametes.
Next up, we have the law of independent assortment. Think of this like ordering a pizza. Whether you choose to have pepperoni on your pizza doesn't affect your decision to have mushrooms, right? Similarly, the way one gene gets passed on to the offspring doesn't affect how another gene is passed on. Each gene pair segregates independently during the formation of reproductive cells.
The law of independent assortment. This law is all about how different traits are inherited independently of each other. Let's go back to Mendel's pea plants. He didn't just look at the seed color, but also seed shape. Just as the letter Y capital represented the color yellow and Y small represented green, R capital was used for round seeds and R small for wrinkled ones. Now here's the catch. These traits, color and shape, they don't influence each other. A pea plant could have any combination of these traits. It could be yellow and wrinkled, green and round, and so on. The inheritance of one trait doesn't affect the inheritance of the other. Thus, the law of independent assortment shows us that different traits are inherited independently of each other. Mendel's third law, the law of dominance, tells us why certain traits are more prominent than others. This law states that some characteristics, called dominant traits, will show up more frequently because they mask other traits, known as recessive. Take Mendel's pea plants, for instance. The yellow seed color is dominant over the green. Even if a plant inherits one yellow and one green allele, the yellow, being the dominant trait, will be expressed. So the law of dominance explains why we see certain traits more than others. In essence, Mendel's laws of inheritance are the foundation of modern genetics. The law of segregation illustrates the separation of alleles during gamete formation, while the law of independent assortment explains how traits are inherited independently. Then there's the law of dominance, which reveals how dominant alleles express themselves over recessive ones. These laws have shaped our understanding of inheritance, unlocking the secrets of life's diversity. And there you have it, the intricate dance of genetics and inheritance, all thanks to Mendel's groundbreaking work.